Now, we all have questions. Let's get some answers with Matthew Miller, Director of the DeGroote Institute for Infectious Disease Research at McMaster University in Hamilton. Professor Miller, I got a booster shot in late July. A lot of Canadians did too. Was that a mistake?
No, absolutely not. The boosters in July were really important because, of course, during the summer, we experienced a really intense Omicron wave. And so, although the first generation vaccines are not doing as good a job as they did early on in the pandemic, keeping people from being infected in the long term, in proximity to getting a booster, there is a measurable increase in protection. And so, being aware of the local epidemiology and getting boosters in advance of waves is still a really, really useful intervention.
Okay, so if you got that booster shot at some point in the summer, how long should you be waiting before the next one?
In general, people should wait 3 to 6 months. The recommendations sometimes vary between jurisdictions. And the reason for that is because having two vaccines too close together can prevent the vaccine from working as well as it might if they're spaced further apart.
And what about those who recently had COVID?
Ditto for those who recently had COVID. If you recently had COVID, it was almost certainly Omicron. And so that infection will naturally boost your immunity against Omicron infection going forward. And just like if there was a recent vaccine, waiting a little while until getting reboosted will ensure that that vaccine is as effective as possible.
There's a lot of people in this country who didn't even get the third shot, that first booster shot. Do you expect that will change with this more targeted dose?
I think so. I think, some of the apathy we've seen in terms of low uptake of third and even fourth booster doses has been because people have the perception that these shots are not working as well as they once did. And although they are doing a great job at protecting against hospitalization, ICU admission, and death, it is true that they haven't been doing as well at preventing infection per se. However, now that we have this updated bivalent vaccine, I think there's tremendous hope that these will do a much better job protecting against infection overall. And that will be a real motivator for people to go out and get a booster who may be, very pro-vaccine, but just hadn't gone out to get third or fourth doses previously.
So where are we heading with this? I mean, is it going to be like the flu vaccine we get once a year? How many boosters are we going to be looking at?
Yeah, it's still a little bit difficult to know, but I suspect that we will, as the pandemic ends and this virus becomes endemic, be in a situation that's much more akin to what we're used to with seasonal influenza. It's likely that as we transition out of the pandemic, we'll see much lower infection rates of the virus over the summer months, higher infection rates over the winter, like we're used to with other seasonal infections. And so annual vaccination campaigns, as we've experienced for many, many years for seasonal influenza, is likely something that will happen in the foreseeable future. Of course, the good news is there's a tremendous amount of effort being put into generating vaccines that would be even longer lasting than that, which may get us into a situation where we require very few boosters, or at least boosters spread out over, maybe 3, 5, or 10-year periods.
Professor Miller, thanks very much.
My pleasure.